Hey, this is Raise Radio, the holistic wisdom podcast for awakening women that weaves food and nutrition, traditional wisdom, spiritual expansion, so that you can feel your best body, mind, and soul. I'm your host, Raina Lutz. Let's dig in. Hey, this is Raise Radio, and today I'm going to be talking about soul retrieval. This is a little bit new to the lineup I had so far on the podcast, where I'm talking more about food and body-mind stuff, and I want to get more into some of the spirit work. So I want to start with talking about this concept through the lens of animism, which is the belief that everything has a spirit. So if you believe that each of us has a soul, you're probably interested in the concept of soul retrieval and the belief that souls or parts of them can become lost or fragmented. That leaves people feeling incomplete due to trauma. So there is a spirit medicine practice called soul retrieval, which aims to bring back those lost parts of ourselves. So here's how it works. To first understand soul retrieval, it's important to understand how parts of a soul can become lost. So usually this happens as a result of trauma. It's going to leave someone feeling detached, fragmented, or seemingly separate from their body. So in this work, a person is typically guided by a shamanic medicine worker through the process of bringing those lost pieces back. And that medicine worker goes into an altered state of consciousness, into the unseen realm of spirit to find the pieces, retrieve any story around it, and then address whatever it is that caused that fragmented piece to leave and bring the soul piece back into this plane. Now, personally, when I'm doing my work, I do not use psychedelic medicine to reach altered states of consciousness. I believe that that is done through the hours and hours and hours of dedication to meditation practice. And there's a lot of harm in the psychedelics community. So it's not a part of my practice. And I believe that my sobriety is a really valid piece of my practice because I can feel safe and clean when I'm working with other people's energy. I don't have to worry about the energy of the drugs or the spirit of the drugs interrupting or contaminating that work or potentially causing harm. So how do we get lost? What happens when we experience soul loss? So another word that we like to use is fragmentation. So soul loss is a type of fragmentation that can occur after a trauma happens. So there's a moment where something happens that is shocking, painful, psychologically, we disassociate from. If you think about something that happened to you, maybe something very traumatizing like a car accident, there's going to be parts of that story that you don't remember, right? It's like your brain completely blocks it out. You don't remember that part of the story. Those can be the moments when those pieces will leave. It's a way that we learn to survive these traumatic events. As we move through life and we have more and more of these traumas, they can build up gradually and we can really burn out and we can feel really far away from our purpose, our experience of a joyful life. We can feel really disconnected from who we thought we are, who we thought we were, or who we think we should be. We just feel disconnected. So it's not, a pleasant state to be operating from that kind of space. It's not a beautiful way to walk through the world, to walk through our time here. So when we're experiencing, mental health issues like depression, anxiety, feeling worthless, feeling directionless, if we're having difficulty, adjusting to life, if we have really unhealthy coping mechanisms, and the unhealthy coping mechanisms that I help people with the most are emotional eating, overeating, alcohol and cannabis overuse. If we're feeling disconnected, if we're feeling like, I'm attracting these bad things in my life. I have abusive relationships or a really bad work environment, or, friends that don't support me or my passions or interests, and they don't really seem, present with me. All of these experiences can really fracture our soul on all the levels. If we have negative thoughts and, lots of low energy, self-neglect. So if we really struggle to take care of ourselves, if we, struggle and neglect to do our own self-care, or if we have difficulty being present, all of these are signs that we have had some loss, some soul fragmentation. So, it's helpful to work with someone to bring these pieces back. If you want to work on this from a true body, mind, spirit perspective, you would be ideal to be able to work with a therapist, someone who can help you with the psychological, the mental aspect, while you're working on supporting your body with healthy food, hydration, exercise, and then also have a medicine worker help you with the spirit side. There is also a belief that sometimes fragmented pieces can spontaneously come back, which is really great. Practicing your own ritual of meditation and mindfulness can help, encourage those reuniting pieces, because now you're putting in the work to reconnect to yourself, to reunite to yourself. You can also learn to get in touch with your guides. Now, people have different, experiences of what spirit guides are, whether they're ancestors, angels, animal guides. Some people believe that our guides are not separate from us. They are versions of our higher self coming in those visual forms. So, in a meditative state, in a hypnotic state, you can imagine meeting with these guides or ancestors and to receive their perspective and their love and support. Really beautiful, beautiful work. So I do believe that soul loss can happen to anyone at any time, whether it's, the result of trauma or simply falling on a path that takes you down a road that you weren't expecting. And the universe does that, to redirect us. But sometimes we get redirected so far away, and then we have to look back and say, well, I didn't understand that I was going here. I wanted to go that way. And so it's really easy for us to just, fall into this space, time. These days are just blending, and then all of a sudden look back and you've, lost 2 or 3 years to this experience that took from you. So, if you're experiencing mental health issues, anger, sadness, anxiety, or self-neglect and inability to do your self-care, it's really important to seek help, and to seek help from people in the mental health realm and the spiritual realm that want to support you with this work, because, we get this life, we get these journeys and these experiences for the growth of our soul. And we want to have a life that feels like it was our choice. So I hope this was an interesting, helpful intro for you to learn about some spirit work and some soul retrieval. And I so appreciate you being a listener on my podcast. And I thank you for being here. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Thanks for listening. You can find me online at www.rainadonlutz.com.